The president is not going to allow North Korea to have a nuclear weapon in their hands that can hit America with an ICBM that can make it to the United States. And if we have to go to war to stop this, we will. And if there's a war with North Korea, it'll be because North Korea brought it on itself. And we're headed toward a war if things don't change.
But that could result in tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of casualties. You've been there. You understand.
Yeah.
Even
so that's where we are.
Weaponry.
This war could lead to millions of casualties. It probably will.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
By the way, coming up in the next segment, President Trump has called for an investigation into Joe Scarborough and the mysterious death that took place at his office in Florida of his intern. And Trump has also called for the investigation of the chairman of NBC for his sexual activities. And as I've said, they're burning Matt Lauer. They're burning all these other people because they don't get ratings. They're not successful. They've been covering it all up for a long time. We're going to get to that coming up. Wow, Matt Lauer was just fired from NBC for inappropriate sexual behavior in the workplace. But when will the top executives at NBC and Comcast be fired for putting out so much fake news? Check out Andy Lack's past. You want to fight? You globalists are going to get one. And you're going to get my special attention. I can't wait. I've gone from being on the fence about this stuff to just right now, I'm just like a wild boar ready to go wild. My tusks are just ready to gouge politically. There's nothing like the Battle of Fury, and you can feel it. The enemy's about to move on everybody in the next month. They've already been moving, but they're about to move. And once we beat this attack, we're going to win. But there are other big problems that we're facing. And that's North Korea that I was just getting into. Mattis, North Korea's new ICBM can hit targets nearly anywhere in the world. Also, Graham on North Korea, and I don't like to agree with Senator Graham on a lot of stuff, but he's right. We're headed to war if things don't change. This is a big, big deal. North Korea launches ICBM in the Pacific Ocean. It went higher and further. Of any, they could track the trajectory. If they would have let it continue on, it could have hit anywhere in North America, probably anywhere in the world, as Secretary of Defense Mattis talked about. So right now, let's play that clip of Secretary of Defense Mattis. North Korean missile launch went higher than previous test. And it takes it to a whole new level. Here it is.
President, Senator, Speaker, a little over 2.5 hours ago, North Korea launched an intercontinental ballistic missile. It went higher, frankly, than any previous shot they've taken. It's a research and development effort on their part to continue building ballistic missiles that could threaten everywhere in the world, basically. And in response, the South Koreans have fired some pinpoint missiles out into the water to make certain North Korea understands that they could be taken under fire by our ally. But the bottom line is it's a continued effort to build a threat, a ballistic missile threat that endangers world peace, regional peace, and certainly the United States.
Now let's go to this next clip. State Department comments on North Korea's latest missile launch. Here it is.
The DPRK missile launch, and the Secretary would like to release this statement right now. And then I'd be happy to take your questions. Yes, it is. The United States strongly condemns North Korea's launch of what was likely an intercontinental ballistic missile into the Sea of Japan, indiscriminately threatening its neighbors, the region, and global stability. The DPRK's relentless pursuit of nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them must be reversed. Together, the international community must continue to send a unified message to North Korea that the DPRK must abandon its weapons of mass destruction programs. All nations must continue strong economic and diplomatic diplomatic measures. In addition to implementing all existing UN sanctions, the international community must take additional measures to enhance maritime security, including the right to interdict maritime traffic transporting goods to and from the DPRK. The United States, in partnership with Canada, will now convene a meeting of the United Nations Command Sending States to include the Republic of Korea and Japan and other key affected countries to discuss how the global community can counter North Korea's threat to international peace. Diplomatic options remain viable and open for now. The United States remains committed to finding a peaceful path to denuclearization and to ending belligerent actions taken by North Korea.
Now, I published a big article by Ron Paul yesterday on Infowars.com calling for backing down from North Korea and pointing out that our sanctions mainly just hurt their people. And I showed that because this is a complex issue. I agree with Ron Paul to a great extent. But North Korea has broken all its previous deals, is menacing its neighbors, and it could just let its people have a little bit of economic freedom, and they'd be like South Korea, one of the wealthiest countries on earth. It's the same people. They're smart, they're hardworking, they're focused, they're great mathematicians, the list goes on. And they are under a suffocating evil regime of a little demonic, inbred, third-generation dictator who is threatening everybody and who is starting fights and who is kidnapping people from Japan and China and the U.S. and all of this. It's out of control. Trump didn't start this. We didn't start this. The communist Chinese invaded Korea. And that's where all this came from. And we're still at war with them. And this is one of the biggest trigger points in the world right now. And is a very serious situation. And people out there that say it isn't, just because this has been going on since 1950, and we've had a ceasefire since 53, it's coming to a head. And you hear the statements. In fact, we have the statement from Graham. I don't know if I forgot. Yeah, let's play. This is Senator Lindsey Graham talking about how this is going to war. And that's the military's been told. Anytime, get ready. And they basically have South Korean and U.S. military that have agreed to suicide missions. This is not a secret, by the way. North Korea knows this. We have military and others that have agreed to suicide missions. That means more than a 50% likelihood you won't make it out to go in and kill him. So Trump is, really, I think, just changing course because the other course hasn't worked. Ron Paul says, are they really a sponsor of terror? And he says they aren't. And then he gives the reasons why we shouldn't go to war with them and why it's bad. No, they are sponsors of terror in the Middle East. They've been caught doing it. But I understand we shouldn't escalate this, but they shouldn't either. It's a two-way street. Here's Senator Graham.
Does this latest intercontinental ballistic missile test bring North Korea to actually threatening the United States with a nuclear-tipped ICBM?
Well, I'll let the intelligence community give you that answer, but I believe every test puts them closer. And the president has said, we'll take care of it. Not the United Nations, not China. We'll take care of it. And my hope is that North Korea will realize that he is serious about this. The president is not going to allow North Korea to have a nuclear weapon in their hands that can hit America with an ICBM that can make it to the United States. And if we have to go to war to stop this, we will. And if there's a war with North Korea, it'll be because North Korea brought it on itself. And we're headed toward a war if things don't change.
But that could result in tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of casualties. You've been there. You understand.
Yeah.
Even
so that's where we are.
weaponry.
This war could lead to millions of casualties. It probably will. And it's a serious issue. When we come back.